Green computing, the next wave in computing. World's largest school by pupils now, City Montessori School in Lucknow, is preparing world citizens since 1959 through holistic education of material, human and divine, and by organizing 30 international events. School is exerting every effort in preparing proactive global citizens committed to the service of humanity. In 2020, the 20th International COFAS returns with a bang in the form of COFAS, an online event due to pandemic, and the theme of COFAS is Green Computing, an environmentally responsible use of computers and related resources to recycle, reuse and reduce e-waste. Welcome to COFAS 2020, a virtual bonanza organized by City Montessori School, Rajendra Nagar Campus 1, convened by the principal, Mrs. Jayashree Krishnan.
COFAS 2020 is thus our response to the red flag raised by the environmentalists. The events in COFAS were all conceived with the sole purpose of reviving and restoring Mother Earth's crowning glory, and joining us in our endeavors were our friends.
For the opening ceremony, participating teams from Russia, Jordan, Qatar, Oman, Bangladesh and India zoomed in. Chief guest Dr. Navneet Sehgal, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, MSME and Khadi Village Industries, Information Department and Chairman Film Bandhu, Government of Uttar Pradesh, declared COFAS open.
Be ready for a visual treat at this COFAS 2020 meet. Be ready for a visual treat at this COFAS 2020 meet.
COFAS 2020 meet. COFAS 2020 meet. COFAS 2020 meet. COFAS 2020 meet.
May this light spread afar all over the world for peace and harmony. May the Lord keep this light always burning forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever.
Dispelling darkness in this pandemic, CMS has created ample creative opportunities wherein technology meets education. Greetings from Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, President and Managing Director, CMS.
Friends, this is a very interesting event called COFAS this time. Previously, I have noticed in previous years this event has been called COFAS, and this time the letter E has been joined to it. Whereas E is often used to refer to electronic, I believe this time in this context it is being used to refer to an environmental COFAS, because I think this intriguing idea of green computing, which the brochure of this event mentioned. Seems like such an important idea, friends. The fact that, how computer technology can perhaps help us to redeem the world from its problems, its major problems. I have been a believer in the power of technology because I'm an economist, I'm an econometrician, I'm a statistician, and I've used computers in order to do quite a lot of statistical analysis and to see what insights, data, and analysis of data that computers permit in a rapid way. Because when you have millions of data points, computers enable you to very quickly harness that and analyze that data, which if you were doing manually, it would be impossible. So I have been a witness to the power of computing technology. But although I was a believer in the power of technology, I I did think that it would, one day become more and more important and, sort of help in different areas as well. But I really did not. I was a skeptic when it came to artificial intelligence and to the predictions that that computers would take over jobs and so on and so forth. What the current year of the corona crisis has demonstrated very amply is that, this, first of all, really in the last few years we became more aware anyway that artificial intelligence is here to stay. It is making inroads into all our lives. When it comes to holding a smartphone in our hand, that is basically has many features of artificial intelligence in it built in already. And then when it comes to robotics, there's been major developments. When it comes to, every single aspect. Now, when it comes to the corona year, the pandemic, suddenly educational institutions have been thrust into a position where if they didn't immediately on the hoof adapt, they would have become, they would not have been able to continue to provide education. So educational institutions throughout the world have had to come to grips with technology very quickly, computer technology, and to begin to use it. And in fact, those that have come before us, we are climbing on the shoulders of giants in that sense, intellectual giants, computer scientists who have made computing so user friendly that it has been possible for educators throughout the world to use the power of computer technology to communicate and to be able to give education long distance, without face to face appearance of children in classrooms before their teachers physically.
The uniting vision of CMS, leveraging technology, vividly came alive through invocation to the Almighty, prayer and hymn by the students of the campus. All religions prayer and Sufi dance showcasing unity of religion and different faiths. Choreography called Amity and Appeal for Peace. Orato Dominica, the World Unity Prayer Ceremony to instill the belief that no boundaries can divide us.
Let us immerse ourselves into the mesmerizing power of the all-religion prayer, followed by the Sufi dance that kindles the spirit of hope in humanity.
एक नूर ते सब जग उपजया एक नूर ते सब जग उपजया कौन भले को मंदे कौन भले को मंदे किसने तो आदम जात बनाई, किसने यहाँ बनाए हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई। ओए तोड़ दे फेरा दीन धर्म दा खुल जाए सब फंदे, सब रब दे बंदे, सब रब दे बंदे।
कैसे इश्क से सज गई राहें, जब से देखी है तेरी निगाहें, या खुदा मैं तो तेरा हो गया। तू जो करम फरमाए अदम इंसान हो जाए, तू जो करम फरमाए अदम इंसान हो जाए, मस्ताना हो के दीवाना हो के तुझे पल में पा जाए। सांसें फिजा में तू है, रूह है बया में तू है, हर इब्तिदा में हर इंतहा में हर एक नजरे ज़बा तू है। कैसे इश्क से सज गई राहें, जब से देखी है तेरी निगाहें, या खुदा मैं तो तेरा हो गया।
फुलवारी रे साजे गाजे बाजे गूंजे सपनोरी ये किलकारी रे, वन उपवन अभिनंदन करता छाई धगा परियारी रे। शक्कर भांको झांकी झांको हुई जश्न की ये तैयारी रे, मन हर जाओ धन बरसाओ धन सुखवाड़ो जी रे।
आयो रे शुभ दिन आयो रे, शुभ दिन आयो रे। পুজো পুজো গন্ধ নিয়ে নতুন গানের ছন্দ নিয়ে শারদিয়ায় খুশিতে মন নাচে। এলো 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 মা দুর্গা মা, আরে এলো 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 মা দুর্গা মা। বলো দুর্গা মাই কি, বলো দুর্গা মাই কি, আরে বলো দুর্গা মাই কি। Don't think about it, just move your body. Listen to the music, sing oh yeah oh. Just move those left feet, go ahead get crazy. Anyone can do it, sing oh yeah oh. Show the world you got that fire. Feel the rhythm getting louder. Show the world what you can do, prove to them you got the moves. Hey, I don't know about you, but I feel better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. I'm better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah.
The next item, the World Unity Prayer, is an echo of the same spirit, a fervent appeal to mankind to celebrate differences, yet be united in vision, thoughts and goals, to be one with God and one with humanity.
No war, no hate, no hunger. It's time to leave it all behind. One hope, one dream, one nation. We'll make it if we try.
am a world citizen. I belong to all the countries of the world. I stand for humanity, unity, and universal brotherhood. May unity prevail in all the countries of the world.
The world's largest and the most diverse continent is the birthplace of Hinduism, Islam, and many others. The most diverse continent is not only populous but is blessed with some of the longest rivers and the highest mountains of the world. I pray to enable its people to live to its fullness and establish the reign of peace, justice, and human solidarity. I pray for the people of Asia. May unity be in all the countries of Asia. May unity prevail on earth.
May unity prevail on earth.
Is our goal. Let it dwell in every soul. May unity prevail in all the continents of the world. May unity prevail on earth.
May unity prevail on earth.
Let all the world be united. Let all the world be free. Let all the world sing together. Sing the song of unity. Sing the song of unity. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth.
Blessings by founder manager of CMS, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi.
Without computers, the life cannot be imagined now. In every field, computers are needed. There is no field in which the computer is not needed. And there has been researches going on all over the world in computer science. Lot of new researches have been made in computer field. Many universities are offering computer science for post-graduation and for research. So this is something very important, and I congratulate the Rajanagar branch for organizing this event continuously, even though it has not been possible to invite the children as we always used to invite them. But then she is doing it online. So I congratulate her, Senior Principal of Rajanagar, Mrs. Jayashri Krishnan Didi, and all the staff members of Rajanagar for putting up, and the children for putting up a wonderful show.
Founder Director CMS, Dr. Bharati Gandhi proposed the vote of thanks.
The performance by online, maybe if I can think and I can say, is much better even though we find on the stage, because the stage they do, that is wonderful. But as we see the cinemas, so you have become a producer of a great culture of cinemas. Thank you very much. Not only that, you bring the message of peace in the world. So your dream is world embracing, and surely you will achieve it. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Computer Fair and Seminar COFAS 2020 is an amalgamation of ingenuity, skill, and enterprise of young minds. Junior students debate on the topic Computer Today will lead to paperless classrooms tomorrow.
Technology has led to a better detection, better investigation, and a raised success rate in crime rate. But the FBI the Scotland Yard, the CBI, and other agencies of today are better equipped, well organized, and based on the firm ground of technology. So, has crime rate declined due to the advancement of technology? I would definitely say yes. Endless number of cases have been reported where the criminal managed to get away due to the lack of evidence, which would naturally accelerate the crime rate. But technological advancement has provided innumerable devices to trap even the coolest goon in the country. Cops are now equipped with string rays and IMSI catcher that tracks the device of a suspect. A GPS tracking device placed on a car records the movement of a vehicle real time and 24/7.
Technology has also enabled crime to grow throughout this world. Also, if we talk about the current scenario, the pandemic has led to an increase in the unemployment rate, which is leading to a sense of insecurity and frustration among individuals. And many of them are resorting to criminal means just in order to make both their ends meet. Many of them also vent out their anger in the form of domestic violence. A new crime has evolved rapidly, in which the criminal need not be present at the crime scene, which is called as cybercrime. Well, thanks to the developing features of technology. Credit card hacking, credit card fraud, or in some cases by using hidden cameras, criminals invade into the privacy of women, which is called as sexual harassment, or one of the most mentally disturbing crimes, that is cyberbullying, are some of the most common examples of cybercrime. Also, as an extension to the internet, the social media plays a massive role in making it even easier for criminals to carry out their evil attacks on people. There are many phone and email scams like phishing, spoofing, and whatnot. The cyber world in itself has a virtual reality in which anyone can hide or fake their identities using the gift of internet. By quoting all this, in my opinion, crimes have increased with the boom of digitalization and the very fact that crimes cannot be eradicated unless the mindset and the conservative ideas of the human computer, that is the brain, liberate.
The rapid decline of the crime in the 90s is undoubtedly evident, but the fact that technology caused it is a mere speculation. According to the World Bank, the percentage of population that used internet in the 90s was just 0.2%, and therefore the crime drop rate began before the significant adoption of the internet. If not technology, then what caused this drop? Well, officials have several solutions, including aging of the world population, improvement in the world's economy, etc. Now a question might arise. Does technology escalate crime? As a matter of fact, it does. Can you name a crime in which the criminal is not aided by technology? From burglars, kidnappers, drug traffickers, terrorists, technology assists a plethora of crimes. When we mention cybercrimes, it also becomes a necessity to mention the buzzword hacking. Hacking has left no system untouched, and a Clark School study finds that a hacker attacks every 39 seconds. To illustrate the further potential of hacking, let's also take the example of the Eligible Receiver 97 exercise conducted by the US. The US asked a red team to attempt to hack into its defense security system. Seems impossible, doesn't it? Well, the team succeeded, and to add to our astonishment, the team did this using only the freely downloadable hacking software from the internet. To add to our grievance, the general public does not seem much vigilant about these crimes.
So I'll be jumping straight into this, right? Two reasons for why, in the absence of technology, investigating units and police agencies around the world face huge challenges when prosecuting criminals. Two reasons. The first one is simply that in the game of cat and mouse between the police and the criminal, it automatically favors the criminal simply because it's very easy to hide in the absence of any capable means of tracking them, right? In the absence of any capable means of figuring out how they committed the crime. But secondly, and I think this is something which not many speakers have touched upon so far, and that is the fact that implicit bias in the law enforcement or police system actively breeds crime, right? So for example, the simple fact that black people in America are twice as likely to be convicted on drug-related offenses than white people means that American prisons are chock full of people of ethnic minorities, right? What this does is two things. Firstly, it greatly reduces the capability of the law to actively try and help people simply because there's so many people being passed through the law that it's kind of overburdened, right? But secondly, what we're doing in the current system is we're going to minorities, actively prosecuting them and telling them that they're criminals, telling them that they're enemies of the state, right? And this breeds resentment amongst these communities. This breeds further poverty and desperation amongst these communities, which greatly increases crime, right? So how exactly does technology solve these two problems? Firstly then, in terms of tracking and criminals being able to hide. It's a simple fact that with modern advancements like face tracking technologies and cameras, DNA evidence, etc., that's become far easier to pin down who committed a crime, when they committed the crime, how they committed the crime, right? I'd like to point to the example of the German federal police, the Bundespolizei. Between 2008 and 2009, they had a 91.4% success rate while solving cases related to murder, right? And that came as a direct result of them adopting new forensic practices, right? I'd like to point to the murder of Susanna Feldman 2 years ago. Despite her body being recovered only 2 weeks after her being killed, the police were still able to use DNA evidence to find her killers, right? But secondly, how does this solve the second problem, right? At the point at which we replace some of the jobs of police and the law with machines, right? Where we have convicting algorithms to determine who committed a crime or what constitutes a crime. At that point, that element of human bias is removed, which results in lower conviction rates and fairer conviction rates.
Technology has been one of the main reasons for crime across the world since its existence. When we bring up the topic of crime, we usually focus on the physical crimes taking place. And that is why most of us say that crime has reduced due to technology. According to a UN Broadband Commission report, 73% of women are abused online worldwide, and findings of a recent study across OECD countries indicate that about 12% of girls aged 15 have experienced cyberbullying as compared to 8% of boys. But the internet still fails to offer security to everyone, a crucial issue to tackle as we are progressing with the global mission to turn digital tech into effective means of development. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the perfect example of technology leading to crimes instead of declining them. All reports indicate that phishing and spoofing attacks have seen a tremendous rise. It is quite visibly making all kinds of headlines as well. Who knows how many companies out there have suffered a data breach? There has been a pronounced rise of cybercrime, and experts agree that it's getting worse. Digital India, a campaign launched by the Government of India, is one example of this. It has recorded a huge increase of 63.5% in cybercrime cases in 2019, as shown by the National Crime Bureau record data.
Visual representation of thoughts, imagination, and ideas. Here are our senior creators designing logo of COFAS 2022.
Technology is developing more and more every day and has made our lives easier, better, and faster. Computers absolutely have their place in the modern horticulture business. In our logo, we show that these two things are interrelated: plants and new technologies. The sunflower is a worldwide symbol of the anti-nuclear movement and is often used as a symbol for solar technology. Therefore, there is a special reason for this. No other planet has such a clear focus on the sun. With the help of the computer and the sunflower, we can produce electric external blinds that could also produce energy for the daily appliances in the home. This would reduce CO2 emissions worldwide, and homes could suddenly be not only smart, but also environmentally friendly. And Mother Earth will smile again.
First of all, we made this logo on Photoshop. I want to mention that we made a basic logo, so it can be used in a large variety of things. It contains some ideas like the signal picture and the gear picture, which gives a technological impression about the logo and the competition itself. These pictures are easy to recall and contains meanings of creativity and internationality. An attractive color was used. As you see, the blue, the sky blue and the dark blue was used. It is easy to print because of lack of details and color gradients. It can be used easily for other uses such as gifts, as cups, t-shirts, hats, etc. The logo is impressive and creative and supports the vision of green computing and importance of technology. So it supports the vision of COFAS. Thank you for listening.
We tried keeping our logo revolving around the event. My logo was totally inspired from our national emblem. The lion hovering over the letter C indicates righteousness and fair judgment, which is one of the attributes promised by COFAS event. While the mechanical structure of letter O suggests non-theoretical approach of COFAS, the forward arrow inside it shows its concern for our future. Colors play a very vital role in our life. Hence, I tried keeping my logo a little vibrant. Yellow color of letter C indicates optimism and cheerfulness inside the party.
Yes, children.
While red, blue and green colors respectively symbolize wisdom, passion and harmony, the attributes needed for true healthy competition. To present the technical approach of COFAS, I drew signs of network, Wi-Fi, emails, which clearly symbolize connection and communication.
We are Team S14. So, COFAS is empowering that the digital generation. By keeping this in mind, we have created this logo from Adobe Illustrator. The head presents how technology is helping the humans in numerous ways. The search button or the search symbol represents the deep learning and innovation, and the stars represent the creativity. The color theme which we have used is gradient. It means it is range of colors which are present in this logo. So we are inspired from analytical wisdom and experimental wisdom, which is preached by Lord Buddha. These scriptures were written 3,000 years ago. People think that today, nowadays, in modern technology is started to utilize. People have started to utilize it. But 3,000 years ago, this was written in scriptures, and now it is preached by Gautam Buddha. We have used mark tube, paint bucket, and pen tool for creating this logo, and the layers are 1/3.
Senior students designed models for e-waste management, that is, transforming computer junk into good use. Innovations.
For a long time, my classmates and I were thinking what we can make out of a system unit. After a few days, we realized that we could make a unique mailbox out of it. That's why we decided to explore the interior of this device. We found out that it consists of RAM, CPU, and a hard disk. It turned out that each element has special function. Power supply provides light voltage for all other devices. Many different cables come from it to supply power to other devices. Motherboard is the foundation of the computer.
Approximate cost of this mailbox, which you have prepared?
I think it will cost approximately £5.
£5.
It is not expensive. It is not expensive.
So you have made out of waste material?
Yes, of course. So we recycled the material, the computer material, and made a mailbox out of it.
Today, I, Chaitanya Upadhyay of class 10th and
I am Sakshi Sharma of class 9
are here to explain the idea behind our project. So let's begin. Nowadays, farmer suicides are increasing day by day, and if we try to find out the reason behind it, it is due to crop failure, as farmers are not well aware of it, so they less or over irrigate the soil, which leads to crop failure.
So, to overcome this problem, we worked on our project and made a smart farming system with the help of computer junk,
which will maintain the soil moisture and make the soil suitable for growing crops. Now let's see how we'll make the circuit of our model. Now, first of all, this is our Arduino board. This is the heart of our project, as it will contain our program and will inform and coordinate with all other boards and make them work. Now next is our soil moisture sensor. These two are one component, but this is the extension of this part, these two pins, as they can't go inside the soil. This will sense the moisture in the soil. This is a photoresistor. This will help the board to know if it is day or night. This is a pump which we have taken out from a water purifier. This will pump the water from the pond to the farm. And we also require a CPU body in which we'll put all these circuitry. We'll put this Arduino board on this breadboard. Now we'll connect this moisture sensor to our Arduino board.
Now, I'll show you the working of our model. Here, the soil moisture sensor will check the percentage of moisture in the soil and then it will send the data to the Arduino board. Eventually, it will calculate how much water is needed and then the signals will be sent to the water pump. Now, the soil temperature sensor and the atmospheric temperature sensor are connected to the Arduino board. The soil temperature sensor will calculate the temperature of the soil, whereas the atmospheric temperature sensor will calculate the temperature of the atmosphere. If it is found that the temperature of soil is more than the temperature of the environment, then the water pump will release the water again. This is a photoresistor and it will help the Arduino board to determine whether it is day or night time. This is the complete working of a project. Our idea will definitely help the farmers to improve their working conditions and will make their work a bit easier. Thank you.
Very nice of you. It's really like a very good project. And what is the genesis of this project? Where you got the idea? Came to your mind? What is the genesis of the project?
Yes, sir. This is not the first time this type of project is made. There are many prototypes of this, and I have tried to improvise it in a different way. I have combined two or more projects like this and made one project of like this, which will help the farmers and improve their conditions.
My name is Patra. I have made this laser theft alarm. So in this project, I have used this laser light and this sensor from mouse, and this is the buzzer which I have connected to the positive and negative terminal, and this is the Li-ion battery which is connected to this switch. So now I will show you how this works. So first I will on this laser light and then this whole circuit. So if someone tries to enter, this buzzer starts buzzing, and I have named this project Laser Theft Alarm.
My question is, what is the principle adopted in a laser security alarm system?
Sir, the principle was that in the optical mouse, CMOS sensor is used, and the full form of CMOS is a complementary metal oxide as semiconductor. So the sensor work by it collect the lights and convert into electrical energy. So this is how the mouse works, and I have done by using this laser theft alarm as a security purpose.
In this project, I will be making a device which will monitor the temperature of fluid that we increase or decrease. We Using this, we will be able to save our time and money, and we will be a little more productive because we don't have to wait for the temperature to rise and monitor it ourselves. Here, I have used the ESP8266 Wi-Fi from the CPU of a computer and made its integrated circuit. I have integrated Arduino into it. Arduino connects hardware to software. Therefore, we are able to monitor and control sensors and some output devices. The ESP8266 Wi-Fi also functions as a Wi-Fi module which we can use to upload data on the internet. Like in this project, we are uploading the temperature on a Firebase real-time database. In this project, I have also used the DS18B20 waterproof temperature sensor, which will allow me to determine the temperature of fluid. As it is waterproof, there will not be any electrical discharge into the fluid, which will lead to a hazard. Now we will be determining the temperatures of these two glasses using our DS18B20 waterproof temperature sensor. Now I have placed the sensor into the water and I have left it. Now you can see that there is a decrease in temperature. It is roughly settling to about 24 to 25 degrees Celsius. Now I will be doing the same thing to our glass of warm water. Now I have removed the sensor and now I am putting it into the glass of warm water. You can see that the temperature is increasing very rapidly as the metal is gaining heat.
If I want to use IoT, you know IoT?
Yes, sir.
If I want to use IoT in your project, where we use?
Sir, actually we are using IoT right now because I'm uploading things to a Firebase database. And it is a real-time database and I'm not actually using GSM, which would introduce a time delay. So when there is a Firebase database, it is almost the Internet of Things, and then we can control the sensors. And sir, I'm also developing an app using Android Studio, which involves XML and Java code, so that I could make it a commercial product and all the flimsiness of the device can be improvised.
World today is on the threshold of harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, AI. It is important for this generation to incorporate positive, constructive ideas in AI-driven future. Here is more on AI by Mr. Roshan Gandhi Faruhi, Chief Executive Officer, CMS.
What an important theme and content of this international event, COFAS. The fact that we are making an event about computers and computer science on an international stage and making it an international event is symbolically very important. Technology is such an inherently international global thing because technology has no borders. Cyber technology, it's made one day by some private person sitting in their home with a computer program, and then the next day it's all over the world. To make sure that artificial intelligence is used ethically and responsibly, so that it's used for the right things, so that if it automates jobs, that those people have other jobs to get into or that they are taken care of in other ways. And so that artificial intelligence is programmed in the right way so that it is safe. And you should get ready for trying to collaborate in international environments and across borders and with colleagues around the world, in whatever career, whatever university course, whatever field you pursue.
Effective communication skill is important to achieve the end goal. In the competition rendition, senior students presented their views on the topic New Horizon of Energy Efficiency and E-Waste Management.
First, we start by introducing our little universal friend, Mr. Computer. Next. Computers have an undeniably huge part of our everyday life. That be through academics, work, and even in our free time. We seem to never imagine our lives without these devices, as they store all our information, even our most precious memories. Next. Having them grow to become our little friends. Next. Next. But what if I tell you that our little friend right here is destroying our environment? That would be hard to believe, so let's look at some statistics. Next. As we can see in this table, the global internet usage has increased by huge percentages in the last 10 years. But how is this bad in any way? Next. Next. Well, using the internet consumes a lot of energy and is therefore a source for significant CO2 emissions. And according to calculations, worldwide IT CO2 emissions generate CO2 emissions of 600 million metric tons a year. All of this contributing to global warming and climate change. Next. And it doesn't stop here, as most computers are made out of plastic and steel, and the utilizing of such elements uses a huge amount of petrol. And even when they're thrown away, computers, if not recycled, they take millions of years to decompose. Meaning, next, if dinosaurs had computers, we would still be able to find them today, which, if you think about it, is a very concerning statement. Next. 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 And those were just some of the many harmful effects of e-waste. Next. And here's where we start talking about green computing, which is the environmentally responsible and eco-friendly use of computers and their resources. And we can do that by the 7R actions, next, which can be presented on the screen right now, which is recycling, refurbishing, reusing, reducing, return on investment, risk and mitigation, and regulation compliance. But what can we do exactly? Well, today we're going to focus on our part as a community. Next, please. Next. And first we have to reduce our energy consumption on computers by using highlighted specifics for our computer setups and practice habits like putting our computer on standby. Next. Also, we have green disposal, which is just to reuse or recycle our old computer waste. Like my prop right here is reused computer waste. Next. Next. And by getting to the end of our journey, we're unlocking the multiple advantages of green computing. This goes for humanity as a whole and for our environment. And together, through this movement, we can grow to have the best tomorrow. Next. So join us on the movement of green computing. Thank you.
Today I'm going to present a presentation on New Horizon of Energy Efficiency and E-Waste Minimization. Next slide. For that, we need to know first what is e-waste. It is simply an electronic object which has lost its value and has been thrown off. Next slide. It has become one of the fastest growing waste stream and constitutes to more than 5% of the municipal solid waste. Next slide. It happens due to the tremendous development in technology and the constant need for the latest and most high-tech. Whenever there's a new device coming up, we always have a crave to buy it and throw off our old supply. But what happens when we throw it? Next slide. It consists of toxic materials like lead, selenium, indium, etc. Next slide. They can harm our human blood, kidneys, and nervous system. Specific materials have specific damage. Some cause DNA damage, some cause respiratory damage, some cause brain damage. Next slide. E-waste causes all sorts of pollution, the air pollution, water pollution, the soil pollution. Next slide. Sometimes when we throw off our devices, the information may not be properly erased. This information can be extracted and could be used for local scams. Next slide. The solution to the e-waste is the 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle. Next slide. The first step of the 3 R's, the reduce, tells us to only buy what we need. We can borrow, share items, sell off unwanted items. The second step, which is reuse, to buy only rechargeable batteries, a multi-purpose household cleaner. Next slide. A recent step was taken from Apple, which told us that the iPhones will no longer come with a power adapter or earpods to lower its environmental impact. This change also makes the iPhone box smaller, reducing the greenhouse gases needed to ship these products. Next slide. Recycling also has a lots of hazards. Some cause health effects, environmental problems, global warming, etc. Next slide. A recent step, which is the green computing, was taken to reduce e-waste, which is the environmentally responsible and eco-friendly use of computer. It consists of 4 steps: green use, green design, green disposal and green manufacturing. Next slide. A small step can be taken from our side as well. We can replace our CTR monitor with an LCD monitor. We shouldn't print unnecessarily, use laptops instead of desktops, etc. Next slide. From all these slides, we come to a conclusion to use 3 R's and also try to use cleaner sources of energy. We can also go in for cloud computing, which is more secure, cost-effective, better accessible and energy efficient. Next slide. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Urvi Prakash. I quote, "Be a part of the solution, not the part of the pollution." I unquote. There is a solution for every problem. So let's have a look at our solutions. Let's have a look at the topics which I'll be discussing today. The main topic of this presentation is green computing. So what is green computing? It is the study of designing, engineering, manufacturing, using and disposing of computing devices in a way that reduces the environmental impact. In 1992, the US Environmental Protection Agency launched Energy Star, promotes energy efficiency. Green computing has many benefits. It causes a considerable reduction in the quantity of heat produced from the computing devices. There is a common question that arises, which is, does green computing revolve only around waste and power reduction? The answer is no. Green computing supports sustainability, which with one motto, reduce, reuse and recycle. Now let's discuss some positive impacts of green computing. Green computing technique reduces the energy consumption, which results in low carbon dioxide emission. Here are some ways in which green computing can overcome current environmental concerns, such as green design and green usage. Accomplishments come with support. So let's discuss some steps that promote green computing. Number 1, green use. Number 2, green disposal. Number 3, green design. Next. Number 4, green manufacturing. Number 5, voluntary programs. Steps to support green computing. Next, don't print your drafts but review it on the screen itself. Let's read out a fact. The world dumps a massive of 50 million metric tons of e-waste every year. But only 20% of this is formally recycled, and the e-waste worth might actually surprise you. Here we see the countries that generate the most amount of e-waste depicted by red and the least amount of e-waste depicted by orange. What is the need of e-waste minimization? Minimizing e-waste will reduce the energy we take from the earth as it keeps on increasing every year. Trash is not the right place. Understand your e-waste. Consider limiting the number of electronics you own.
Technology can make learning interactive, engaging and fun. COFAS doodle for junior students on the topic An Approach Towards Sustainable Development. Caustic, the choreography on the theme Illuminate displayed the power of computing in all aspects of contemporary work and life.
हैप्पी बर्थडे बच्चों, चलो चलो अभी केक काटते हैं। और ये रहा तुम दोनों का गिफ्ट।
थैंक यू पापा, थैंक यू।
The power of prayer can't be explained, but the power of prayer can be experienced. Prayer is something different, the strength of which man cannot produce in any way. Make yourself a tuning fork, resonating with and vibrating along God's frequency. Let's seek the blessings of the most powerful and most merciful, the Almighty, the Nourisher and the Destroyer through a prayer and a hymn.
I will witness, oh my God, that Thou hast created me to know Thee and worship Thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to Thy might, to my poverty and to Thy
essence of dance is the expression of man, the landscape of his soul. The inspirational dance that is now going to be presented celebrates the true joy of dancing and is a tool to demonstrate faith, faith that can move humanity towards warmth, love and compassion. Let us welcome you all with a soulful prayer dance.
सारी सृष्टि जिससे जागी बीज वही दिव्य वाणी कहते हैं सब ज्ञानी सत्य सनातन शाश्वत पावन प्रणव की गुंजन एक है बस वही जो है अनंत और अनादि सारी सृष्टि जिससे जागी बीज वही दिव्य वाणी नि सा 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 नि सा ग सा नि सा ग म प म ग ग म प नि नि म प नि सा नि सा ग सा नि सा नि प नि प म प म ग म ग म ग हर कण में उसकी सुंदर छाया सारा जहां एक दर्पण है हर नाद में बस वो ही समाया हर गीत की वो सरगम है तेज वो सूरज का चांद वो अंबर का सातों समुंदरों में वो लहर उसका हर एक आत्मा में घर है सब धर्मों का ज्ञान दिखाए किसका मार्ग हमें एकम सत बतला कर वो आमंत्रण देते हैं आ मिल जाए नित्य चैतन्य में नित्य चैतन्य में
COFAS 2020 bonded hearts, brought together young minds from all across the globe in a healthy but competitive spirit on one common platform. The virtual COFAS embodies our eternal quest for Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, and I can proudly state that this event has been able to bring about the unity of hearts, minds and souls from all across the globe.
This is a wonderful event of COFAS. Computer science, as we all know, is the most important thing that our children should learn. And regarding chief guest, Mr. Shishir IS, who is the director of information of the UP government, he is very appreciative of this program, and he has highly encouraged and motivated you with his kind words.
On this auspicious occasion at the closing ceremony, I would like to say that the modern science has been awakened by the continuous efforts of the outstanding scientists, but it is the youth of today who will carry forward this torch and have entered the 21st century. It is becoming clear how critical the role a technology is playing to shape life on our planet and to establish human race as an advanced species of all times. In the end, I would like to congratulate City Montessori School for nurturing world citizens, embodied in intellectual, moral, scientific, and as well as they are empowered to serve the whole of humanity. I am sure that the participants of COFAS would have greatly benefited from this 4-day event, and I would like to once again congratulate each and every one of you. Thank you.
There are a few bonds which can never be roped in the string of words. One such bond is of a parent and a child. The purest bond of love and affection you will see is between, any guesses? I know it doesn't need any guesses. It's the bond between the parents and their child. There has never been, nor will there ever be, a purest form of love as this. Howsoever old we become, But as soon as we get even a minor cut, the first word we utter is mom. So here we present before you a dance to celebrate the purest bond, the innocent love.
छोटी सी प्यारी सी नन्ही सी आई कोई परी, भोली सी न्यारी सी अच्छी सी आई कोई परी, पालने में ऐसे ही झूलती रहे, खुशियों की बहारों में झूमती रहे, गाते मुस्कुराते संगीत की तरह, ये तो लगे रामा के गीत की तरह, रा रा रू रा 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 रू रा रा रू रा 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 रू।
उंगली पकड़ के फिर से सिखा दे, गोदी उठा लेना माँ, आंचल से मेरा मुंह पोंछ देना, मैला सा लागे जहाँ, आंखें दिखाए मुझे जब जिंदगी, याद मुझे आती है तेरे गुस्से की, डांटा भी तो तूने मुझे फूलों की तरह, क्यों नहीं माँ सारी दुनिया तेरी तरह।
You might have a mom, she might be the bomb, but ain't nobody got a mom like mine. Her love's till the end, she's my best friend. Ain't nobody got a mom like mine. She's my world, she's my heart, and there's no denying I'm her girl, no matter what. Even when I'm lying, she loving me, loving me, loving me, loving me, love myself.
A quick run through the closing ceremony come prize distribution.
Congratulations Team M06 for bagging the runners-up trophy in COFAS 2020. Your presentations were fabulous. Stupendous job done by the Team M06. And the overall championships trophy for COFAS 2020 goes to Team Hold on to your breath. It's Team I know your heartbeats must have gone high. So Team M07 GPS Kalyanpur Kanpur. Many congratulations to the team.
COFAS 2020 Green Computing, the next wave in technology, has set the ball rolling by focusing the coming generation to think and endeavor towards reducing the carbon footprint to make Mother Earth smile again.